Hey beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. If you're new here, I would love for you to click that subscribe button and join the family. Today we're going to talk about how I paid off $25,000 in student loan debt in around 2 years while making less than $45,000 a year. Baby, if I can do it, you can too. So let's get straight into the video. Okay, y'all, so I became debt-free in 2021, so that was a few years ago. It took a lot to get there, and I want to share all my tips and tricks to help you get there as well. So we're going to go through 7 things that will help anyone who wants to become debt-free, and start your journey towards financial freedom. So number 1 is you need to know your why. You need to know why you want to be debt free. You have to have something to motivate you. When you have your why, that can keep you grounded regardless of what happens. And literally, it always redirects you whenever you get discouraged. So I had a really big why. I care about wealth and financial freedom a lot. I also know that biblically, we're not called to be borrowers, but we're called to be lenders. So I wanted to live into that truth for my life. And that really grounded me because I did not want to be in debt. I think honestly, not being in debt was one of my biggest whys. I just didn't want to be in debt. I didn't want to have to worry about it, think about it later as I tried to build wealth. And it was something that was really just close to my heart. So you have to think about your why and why you want to be debt free and how it's going to change your life. And you have to fixate on that in order to stay committed to your goals. So speaking about goals, number 2 has to do with setting a goal. You have to set a goal so you can know what you're working towards. So for example, my goal was to be completely debt free, so to pay off all my student loans, which was about $25,000. So that was my goal. And what I had to do is really look at that and say, okay, is that feasible? If I don't feel like it's feasible, why? And if I don't feel like it's feasible, what can I do to make it more feasible for my life? When you're setting a goal, you want to make sure you put a time frame on it. That's so important because then you have something to work towards. Then you have kind of like a time limit, right? So we know some of us, we needed that 11:59 when we were in college to make sure we got stuff done, or if you're in college now. So you have to give yourself an 11:59 time frame. So for example, I want to be debt free in the next year. I want to be debt free in the next 14 months, right? Make it really specific. I want to be debt free by November 15th on my 25th birthday. Whatever it is, write down a date to your goal so that you have now made it concrete and you now have something to hold yourself accountable to. Okay? So set that goal. You got it. I believe in you. So once you have your goal, the next thing you have to do is do the math, y'all. Do the math. If the math ain't math, then this ain't gonna work. So you have to do the math. And what I mean by that is I knew that I had around $25,000 to pay off, right? And my goal was to do it in a certain amount of time. So I did it in about 2.5 years. At that time, I was living in another state. And I told myself, I want to leave my debt in that state, right? So I was like, I want to leave my debt here. And I plan on living here for the next 2.5 years. So what that means is I had about 24 months or so to pay off my debt. So what I would suggest is looking at your goal and dividing it by the amount of time you want to pay it off in, right? So when you're setting a goal is, I believe I can be debt free in the next year. As you're doing the math, you are literally doing the math in accordance to the goal that you just set, which is why these steps are so important, right? So you're going to sit down and say, okay, I told myself I wanted to be debt free in the next 14 months or in the next 2 years or the next 5 years, right? What does it take for me to get to that place? How does the math so that I can accomplish my goal? You take that number and just divide it by how many months or how many years you have so that you can realize, okay, monthly, or even if you want to do it on a bi-weekly basis, monthly or bi-weekly, what do I have to pay towards my goal to really accomplish that? So let's just do simple math. Say you have $24,000 in debt, right? And you want to pay it off in 1 year. If you want to pay it off in 1 year, that means you have to pay $2,000 every month towards your debt to pay off $24,000 of debt in 1 year. And then you think to yourself, like, ooh, do I have $2,000 in disposable income? So meaning like, can I pay off all my bills and all my necessities and still have $2,000 left over? And sometimes the answer is yes. And sometimes the answer is no, like absolutely not. I don't got $2,000 just laying around for me to put towards my debt. And that's where a lot of people stop because that's where it becomes really overwhelming, right? That's where it becomes crippling because how in the world am I going to pay this amount of money off? But I don't want you to stop. I want you to do the math. Make sure the math is mathing, set the amount you need towards your goal. And honestly, if you realize that your goal is not achievable, right? So if it is $2,000 and you're like, dang, there's no way that's happening, you can set your goal differently, right? You can move your goal around at your goal, right? If it's not achievable, but you are set on it, we're going to get there later on in the video of how you achieve your goal, even when you don't have that much money in your bank account. But if it feels like it's not achievable and you just feel like there's no way, move that goal around, right? Give yourself 2 more months, give yourself 6 more months. Like, it's okay to give yourself time, but the important thing is that you have a goal and that you're working consistently towards it. So hold on, y'all. Before you go saying, oh, I can't accomplish this, hold on, because some of y'all just need to sit down and budget. So that's the next tip. Number 4 is budget, budget, budget. Before you even look at like, oh, do I have enough income or do I not have enough income? I want you to sit down and budget. I want you to look at your income and look at your expenses and see where you can cut off. See where you might be spending too much money going out. See where maybe you have too many subscriptions. See where maybe, I need to move in with a roommate for a year. I need to move back in with my parents. There is literally no shame. If you want to reach your goal, there are going to be things you have to do that are not fun, but that are necessary to get to where you want to be. And that's okay. The goal is to be as objective as possible. Try not to tie emotions around it. Try not to feel guilt or shame about your spending or about what you think might happen when you stop spending as much. Just be really objective and just look at your goal and see what do you need to hit that goal. Now, after you looked at your budget, now we can talk about increasing your income, right? Because I know when I looked at my budget, I was like, okay, I cut a lot of things out. I don't exactly remember, but I think when I did this, I had hundreds of dollars left over, but it still wasn't enough for me to hit my goal. So I needed more money, right? And that's when we talk about income. How do we increase our income? And this can be scary because a lot of people will look at their budget and they get overwhelmed and they basically just tap out and say, this is too much. I'm already working hard enough. Like, this is crazy. Like, forget student loans. I get it. I've had all those emotions. But here we are, right? We objectively looked at the numbers and we need more money. And if that is the case, if you need more money, if you don't, that is great. You're doing great. Just, cut down your budget and put that money towards it. But if you do need more money, there are a lot of side hustles now that you can do, whether that's DoorDash, whether that's Uber Eats, whether that's being an Amazon driver, a dog walker, doing content, going on Fiverr and putting your business on there, whatever it may be. You have to just be really, I guess, creative and strategic about what you're going to do and really understand that it is not for the long haul. It's not forever. It's just for the short amount of time in your life that you are going to do something to get to where you want to be. So for example, for me, I was out there door dashing, doing Uber Eats, doing Instacart. But yeah, I really did DoorDash for the most part. But I did all three because I was like, which one's gonna make me the most amount of money, right? Because it's a lot. I worked 70 to 80 hours a week at that time in my life, and I'm over here doing something on top of that to make extra money. Like, I had to make sure that it was beneficial for my time, and it was a lot. But I knew that it wasn't forever. I actually learned a lot about myself during that time, and it was really cool to be able to put that much into doing something and gaining something that I really wanted. So I would say if you need extra money, look at side hustles, look at ways you can increase your income, look at ways you might be able to get a promotion at your current job, or you may be able to ask for extra shifts. Like, I work in the healthcare field. If you work in the healthcare field or probably other fields, you can work overtime and get time and a half on your pay. You can work on, certain times during after hours or over the weekend and get extra pay. Look at opportunities to increase your income and put all of that extra income towards your debt. But y'all know the interesting thing is that even if you increase your income or even if you have enough money, it's going to take discipline, right? It's going to take discipline in order for you to accomplish your goals, no matter what the situation is. And I love discipline, right? I really do like discipline. I would rather be disciplined now and accomplish my goals than to look back at my life and wonder why I was not disciplined enough to accomplish my goal. And I remember hearing Tony Evans, he said, discipline weighs ounces, regret weighs tons. And I was like, ooh, yeah, yeah, baby, we are not trying to look back on our life and be regretful about why we didn't make the decisions we needed to make for our future self. So I need you to tap into discipline. If it's something that you struggle with, look at different tactics. I need you to tap into discipline and realize that this is not for the long haul, right? You are doing this to create the kind of life you want and to get out of the bondage of being in debt. And that requires a lot. And that requires discipline. It requires a different mindset. And it requires you to be true to yourself and to keep the promises you made to yourself and to accomplish the goals you set for yourself, right? So I need you to be disciplined. I don't know what that looks like for you. I don't know what you think about when I say that word, but whatever that is what I need you to tap into. You need to make sure this is a priority in your life, right? If you are setting a goal, if you're putting time and effort towards this, we want to accomplish things, right? We don't want to just frivolously be setting things that we know we aren't going to accomplish. So I need you to be disciplined, and I need you to really tap into that deep, 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 deep inside of you, right? To accomplish the goals you set for yourself. Number 7, along with discipline, being debt free also takes sacrifice. You are going to have to sacrifice so much in the time frame that you set for yourself. And some days it's going to be harder than others. And I want this to ring through your head because I don't want you to lose sight of what you are doing and lose sight of where you're going. But you're going to have to sacrifice. For example, when I was trying to be debt free, your girl did not have a couch in her apartment. All my friends knew that when we came over, and we had Bible study at my house all the time, through my church, like there was no couch there. We gonna little crisscross applesauce on the floor. We're gonna have a good time. There's a dining room table. We got a little coffee table, but I didn't have a couch because that just wasn't in the budget for me, right? Because I set my budget. That just wasn't in the budget for me. And that's okay. So sometimes you have to sacrifice things. And even some of my friends, they knew like, okay, Nicole's trying to be debt free. Maybe we can't go out here, but we can go here. So some of my friends, they'll be like, hey, let's go out here. Hey, can I come over? Hey, let's do this thing that doesn't cost that much money. You want to make sure that you're surrounded by people who support you. So as you're making those sacrifices, it doesn't have to feel as heavy. You're going to have to sacrifice a lot, but it's okay because you're sacrificing today in order to be where you want to be tomorrow and in the future. And you're really going to thank yourself for it because you're going to look back and be like, dang, I was fine. Like, honestly, when I look back at the time of my life, I really was fine. Like I was still living pretty good. I'm not even gonna hold nobody. Like I was living pretty good and I was sacrificing a lot and my budget was slim. Okay? Slim. So yeah, you're gonna have to sacrifice a lot, but it's okay because you're gonna look back and say, wow, I did it. I'm so excited for you, right? I'm so excited for you, like so excited because I really do believe that no matter how bleak it looks, no matter how like just scary and overwhelming it feels, you can accomplish your goals and you can be debt free and you can start your journey to financial freedom. So I really hope that this helps you. I really hope that you implement these tips that I'm giving you. You guys know if you have any questions at all, I would be more than happy to help and assist in any way I can. So you can leave them down below. Okay, y'all, so that is it. Leave any questions, comments, or suggestions down below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Give this video a thumbs up. Turn on the notification bell, all that good stuff. And most importantly, say it with me, do not forget that your life is totally worth living. I love you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.